Tyler,
Scared, buddy.
I had a question for you, man. And for the people, too, because frankly, they'll be hearing this as well. What are some of the books that you think it's really important to be reading this year that will benefit you as a man? I know we got a couple of them, so we'll be kind of talking about them as we go. So would you like to start? Do you want to do it where we kind of go back and forth?
Actually, like one for one.
Yeah.
One for one.
All right, cool.
Well, I'll top with the book up on the top.
All right, cool.
I understand not everyone's religious. I could truly understand that. I'm a man of God. I'm a Christian. I'm trying my best to be a good Christian.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to come off as a hypocrite, but like I'm not the best Christian. I'm not even gonna lie. I try my best.
Yeah.
But I definitely sin. I have my own flaws. But I truly do believe that the Bible has a lot of really good information that you can learn from. I know, especially like earlier in the Bible, like the Old Testament, I would say it's a lot more like stories. I've noticed.
Yeah, true.
Like kind of just how.
Stories. Yep.
Now, I think regardless, you should just read the whole Bible. But I think especially if you are trying to look for like kind of wisdom and guidance, I think you should probably read some of the New Testament.
New Testament is where it's at.
Exactly. Proverbs is a really good. Frankly, Proverbs is just the book of wisdom.
Yeah.
Psalms is really good. Yeah. The Gospels, was it Luke, John, Matthew,
yeah.
and just one more. It's not four. Luke, John, Matthew.
Is it Solomon?
No. I'm drawing a blank. But regardless, I think you should read those. I think the Bible is really good. I think it's helped me. It's kind of opened up my eyes, and especially like, I think Proverbs is a great place to start because it just gives you a lot of like really good information. The Bible speaks in parables, so sometimes it's kind of hard to understand.
Hard to read. Yep.
But at the same time, there's like some really good wisdom in there that I believe is very helpful, and it's definitely helped my life.
You know, Psalms and Proverbs are probably the two that I've read in full and like read the most because they have a lot of helpful stuff. They have a couple prayers in there that you can also say.
Yeah, bro.
It's pretty good stuff.
Get you through some hard times, man.
Yeah, it's a
good book. Hard times.
It's a good book. I hope they actually take your advice and actually check it out.
Read that.
Yeah. All right, so for me, mine's The Power of Habit. Reason I haven't fully finished this book yet.
Okay.
But the reason I think this is a good book, one, it gets you into the mindset of changing some of the negative habits that you might have, trying to replace those with positive ones. I've noticed that they give decent examples as to what those might look like. I think that's a really good book for the people who are there who might be struggling with drug abuse, addiction abuse, just things that aren't positive, that can be detrimental to their lives. They can slowly, because it's not an easy thing to just get over an addiction. It's not an easy thing to get over a bad habit that you've kind of built up in yourself for a long period of time. So by reading this book, I think that is a good first step for them to get out those bad habits, replacing those habits with good habits, replacing those thoughts with good thoughts. And then, of course, this shouldn't be the only thing that you're doing, but this will be a very good first step, in my personal opinion, for those out there that kind of want to kind of get good habits that they're slowly building, especially through this year of 2024. Because there's a lot of things out there, man, that are just built to push the bad habits that we have.
Facts.
The worldly desires, all those types of things. And for those who actually want to go against the grain and make themselves a better man or woman, The Power of Habit is a really good book to start, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. So my next book is going to be How to Win and Influence People. This is quite a popular book.
Yeah.
But, bro, this shit really has helped me in terms of, like, just, like, talking to people, getting to know people. It teaches a lot about, honestly, a lot of it, too, is a teaching. It teaches a lot about how to kind of, like, majority of it I've realized is really just kind of switching, like, that internal dialogue you have with yourself and caring about yourself and kind of pushing it on somebody else. Like, basically switching it is like, okay, instead of just caring about yourself, you now are caring about the other person, looking from the other person's perspective. And it really kind of breaks down how to essentially win friends, influence people, and really just have good conversations with people. I think a lot of time people don't really know how to have conversations. They don't really like small talk. They don't really like any of that. And this book does a pretty good job in terms of like teaching you kind of how to listen, teaching you how to have small talk with people.
Does it give examples?
Yeah, it gives examples as well. Yeah, it gives examples, and
I think it's pretty good. I also think what's really cool is, and like I think it's like in the beginning, it kind of like challenges you a little bit. It says like, it basically was like, if you do follow these steps and do it, and it says like, basically tells you to practice this every single day. I know one of the things in here, and I did it, was read each chapter twice. It's like read the first chapter, like read it once through, and then the second time like highlight it and underline it and stuff like that. And I believe if you follow the rules to this, it'll help you. This has tremendously helped me with like talking to people, being more pleasant, seeming much more pleasant, and it's got me in some pretty good situations. So
Okay.
that's a
Okay,
good
that's a good book. I haven't read that one, so I guess once I'm finished with my books, I might check that out.
it's good, bro.
So this one, thanks to Tyler, he's the one who put me onto this book in the first
That's a
place.
good one, bro.
I don't have the cover on it, but it's the Daily
taking
Stoic.
the cover off?
Yeah, I'll be taking the cover off my stuff. If it's like the hard copy, I just prefer it.
I like the hardcover too.
It just looks better.
nice.
Yeah, it just looks better. But this is the Daily Stoic. This book, I've read it 2 years in a row, going on 3 now, I guess, at this point. And to break it down for you, man, it essentially has a whole bunch of different like life lessons that I think is really important for us all to know.
Yeah.
How to kind of keep a cool head, how to keep calm, how to handle certain situations. I like the way the book is set up to where it gives you an example or just a little paragraph of an example of what the original statement's about.
Yeah.
And then after that, it kind of gives you another paragraph, kind of like just explaining how it is, how you can incorporate it into your life. I think that's really good. I think it's important for us to be stoic.
Yeah.
It's important for us to practice those things
Yep.
because a lot of us are hotheads. You know, a lot of us really blow off and get really upset at small things.
I think a lot of people allow their emotions to take over.
Yes, and it helps you to control your emotions. It helps you to kind of think clearly.
Yeah.
It helps you to be just a calm, cool, relaxed person. There's a multitude of different things. I don't feel like I'm fully doing this book justice. And if you'd like to chime in, because I know you've read it here a couple times too.
What I would say about it is, and what I really appreciate it, and it makes it kind of an easy read, is literally 1 page a day.
Yeah, it literally goes with you. It's like, listen, just read a page.
Nice.
You don't
It's
got to
just
do
1
chapters,
page a day.
none of that. Just 1 page.
And I think that's what kind of helps, at least with me, because sometimes I have problem reading books. You know, I've read a decent amount of books, but like sometimes I'll read a book, then stop reading it, and then come back to it. But what I really like about that is 1 page, and I feel like everyone can read 1 page a day. Yeah. But it's literally, it says like March 4th.
Yep.
Read it. 1 page. Tomorrow, March 5th.
Yep.
1 page. And like
All you
these
gotta
are
do.
not like this is it's
That's
not
it.
lengthy. It's not some of the things per day are like short as hell.
Exactly.
Some of them might be mad short, but it gives you something to think about. And I appreciate it. I think Stoicism as a philosophy in a whole is really good. And I think anyone who's interested in Stoicism or is thinking about it, I think reading this book will kind of give you a really good understanding of what Stoicism is. Also, Ryan Holiday, he's pretty big in
good
it.
guy, yeah.
He has multiple books about Stoicism. I have some other books. I didn't bring them out today, but I have some other books that he has made about Stoicism that is also very, very good, and I like. One is about discipline and one is about courage, and I think they're both very good.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a great book.
Yeah, it's a good book, guys. So check it out if you're interested in all those things.
Thanks. So this book I actually got from Steve Harvey. So shout out Holmes.
Yeah, I remember you gave me that one. It's
The
pretty
Power
cool.
of Positive Thinking.
Yeah,
Bro,
for real.
this book, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Out of all the books I've read, this book might have actually like changed my life the most.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Before this book, I was very negative, and obviously Trey, you've played a part into it as well. My positive thinking, but before this book, I was very negative. I was just very down on myself, and this book really changed the way I think. Now, I will let people know, this book also is a little bit religious. It does talk about God and stuff like that, but I do believe this book is really good, and I truly believe, and I'll say this just as a witness, as someone who's done it. If you actually apply
The
to your
teachings.
life what this book will do,
Bro.
everything will change.
Will
bro.
change you.
It changed the way I think. It changed the way I view the world. It changed my relationship with God. It changed a lot, this book. And it truly does teach you different tactics in order to be positive. It teaches different tactics. It also teaches a lot about faith and having faith. And I believe the reason why I have pretty strong faith is because of this book, and it really helped instill that in me. So Power of Positive Thinking, especially anybody who's negative at all or has problems being negative and anything like that, please check this book out. It's a very, very good book, man.
Yeah.
It'll really change the way you think. It will really change the way you look at the world and think, man.
It's a good book. I remember you had given it to me. I'm not sure if it was over the summer or so, and I took a chance. I read it. It was quite a good read.
Yeah, bro.
Quite a good read. All right, so for my third book, this is going to be a little bit more on the business side, rental properties and investing. I don't know if anybody out there is actually interested in learning about rental properties and such, but me personally, I found it interesting. That's something that eventually I want to get into, and I believe if you want to do something, you should probably try to get as much knowledge on it as possible. So I believe this is a good book. You should check this guy out. I heard about him plenty of times, Brandon Turner. They also have a podcast that you can listen to as well. So, like, if you don't want to just read the book, you can also listen to the podcast. It's pretty good. Overall, it kind of just breaks down rental properties, trying to do it in the different kind of ways to do it. I'm not going to get into the whole nitty gritty, but there's like multiple different types of purchasing of rental properties that you can kind of get into. They kind of teach you how to do it without a whole bunch of money. They teach you how to do it when you get a loan from someone else, and they even teach you how to be like the middleman of like setting up deals for people who want to buy houses. So you find a deal for somebody, and then you go to the buyer, work out the deal, and then you actually get paid for that. So you're really just being paid as the middleman. You do no work. You don't own the property or anything like that, but you want a little bit of extra side cash coming in. Something that you can do. So if anyone's interested in just like rental properties, investing, wanting to get into that kind of a market, I say check this book out. It's pretty good.
All right. So my next book, it's by Robert Greene. I'm gonna be honest. As of right now, he's probably my favorite author.
You know, I almost brought up the Laws of Power.
48 Laws. That's also
another good book.
Yeah, I almost brought that one.
He's probably my favorite. I ain't gonna lie, this book is a little beat up, as you can see.
How long have you had this for? It seems like it's an old book that you've had for a little bit.
I don't know, maybe. 1, 2 years, 2, 3 years, maybe.
Damn.
Not more than one, like 2, 3 years. I don't even know how I got like this. I'm gonna keep it a whole bean. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. If I done marked this book up, man, a lot of underlining in this. It's a very good book, and it's The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene.
This book really opens your eyes to the laws of human nature. And what really got me into Robert Greene is because I really did want to get better at like understanding people, understanding human nature, and he lays out a lot of things, and because of him, I become much more observant of people. I found out things about people I would have never even known if I never was observant, and if I never read his books. It really breaks down in a bunch of different chapters how to read body language, how to read facial expressions, how to kind of change your perception of the world and of yourself, how to judge character and people, and how to make sure that you have a great character within yourself. It breaks down so much stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's a thick bitch, but it's a really, really good. It's a really good read, and I think you guys should really check it out. You'll teach you so much about human nature, so much about people, and once you actually start applying what he's doing and actually using what's in this book real life, you will see things that you never would have even thought.
And to add to that, it might remind you of something that happened to you in the past.
There are many times,
and you're like, oh wow,
exactly.
This is what
there
that
are many
was.
times I was like, yo, why did this person do this? I read this book and I kind of thought about it. I'm like, yo, this actually sounds a lot like this scenario.
Yep.
It opens your eyes to things that you never would have thought. It opened your eyes to things that you have missed in the past, and the things that are happening currently in your day-to-day life, especially if you're not working from home and you interacting with people, you see things, bro.
Yep.
Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. It's a really good one.
Okay. And for my last book, I hold this book kind of dear to me. My grandmother bought me this book because I remember going to Barnes & Noble and I wanted a book just to essentially read. And she said, get anything. And I remember picking this one up. So it's the 101 collection. There are 3 different versions of this, but this is essentially the one with all 3 of them together.
Oh, okay.
And this is what every leader needs to know. Me personally, I want to be a leader of great men one day. The type of person who can inspire folks. It's a little bit like the book that you have here.
How to win friends and
influence people, but just on the leadership aspect of things. How to influence people to essentially do not what you want them to do, but do what you need them to do, essentially, to be productive, to kind of how to change someone's mind when they're upset, when they're not doing something.
Yeah.
A couple of the examples were just kind of like how to coach kids,
okay.
How to kind of like influence them to make better decisions for themselves and such. Another example is just kind of like how the business aspect works.
Yeah.
How to get your employees to do this, that, and the other. And as a man who wants to be a leader, this was kind of a very important read for me. I haven't fully finished it yet, but regardless, so far as I've just gone through it, it has been very influential in my life, just how I kind of portray myself, how I carry myself, the type of man that I want to be. And it's really influenced me in that section. So if anyone out there who is interested in possibly leading, trying to become a great leader, anything like that, this would definitely be one of the books I think you guys should pick up. It's a good read. Also a little bit thick, kind of like Tyler's book, but regardless, I think it's still powerful words inside of it. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll do a little bit review before we end. Over.
There's actually one more book I want to.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Unfortunately, I actually don't have this book, and I actually didn't read it, but I did listen to the audio version of it.
Yeah.
And I low-key want to buy it just so I can have it.
But I think you should. But hard copies is the best copies.
It's nice. But it's another Robert Greene book. It's called Art of Seduction, and I think a lot of people think about seduction as just like picking up women and picking up. Which, don't get me wrong, it does teach you that. So like, guys who are actually trying to like get girls and stuff and having a hard time, the Art of Seduction definitely helps you with that. It gives you different tactics that'll help, but it's just in terms of seducing people all around.
Yeah. And men and women alike.
Yeah, and it really changed the way how I interacted with people. It changed the way how I kind of talk to people, and it really just opened my eyes to certain things, and especially because it also changed the way I like viewed like different, like, I ain't gonna say prospects, but like different females I would want to talk to, because it breaks down different seductive characters, what parts they fall into.
Isn't it similar to how the laws of power is set up, where they say I'm not really good with it, but each one has like a character inside that in that regard.
Yeah. So like there's like there's like the seductive types.
Yep.
And you kind of, and it's like, it also tells you like you should pick out, it shows you the seductive types, but also pick out which seductive type is you.
Yeah.
So figure out, and then it also tells you like anti-seducer types. Mm-hmm. So different type of behaviors and people who basically are anti-seducers.
Yeah, and go against the grain.
Who go against the grain, but like basically they kind of repel people more than trying to get them in.
Yep.
But it basically teaches you step by step on kind of how to seduce somebody. And obviously it's a book, so it's a little bit different than what you see in real life.
True.
But I have used some of the tactics in that book in real life.
There are methodologies.
And bro, it works. It has worked for me. It has helped me on multiple different occasions. With women, it's helped me just with people in my workplace to kind of get on my side and stuff like that. I think it's a fantastic book. So The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene is another fantastic read. Like I said, I didn't read it, but I bought the audio book and listened to it, and it's definitely helped change my life. So
that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So to kind of end off, we'll just go over the books again. Power of Habit, I think it's good for changing habits into more positive ones. It's a really good book. Rental Properties for investing. If you want to kind of get into rental properties, learning how to invest, it's a good start for someone who really doesn't know how to kind of get into that. Just get your foot in the door. The Daily Stoic, I personally believe it's a good book just to be stoic. Kind of teaches you day aspects. You can just go day by day with this one, kind of like what Tyler was saying.
It's easy reading.
You don't got to read a whole bunch. If you want to, you can kind of read through it, but like literally, it's just by the year. So just each day,
literally
read a book.
I know y'all can't see it, but like literally, like July 7th, 1 page. July 8th, 1 page. That's it, bro.
That's all it is.
Easy. July 9th.
It's just one.
It's
just one. And then last but not least, the 101 collection, What Every Leader Needs to Know. This book's quite important to me just because, like I said before, I want to be a leader. And I know there are a lot of people out there who also want to be leaders in their own right. And this can teach you just how to influence people, how to get someone to do something that they might not want to do. Not in a negative way, of course, but just how to be productive. Yeah. And then how to also conduct yourself as a good leader. Because I'm sure we've all had situations where we either had a bad boss, someone that was in a more managerial position, a supervisory position, that just wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. They're not really pulling their own weight. Yeah. And the big thing with this book, he says, all right, it's cool that you want to be a leader, but you have to know that you must take responsibility. You know, it's on you at the end of the day to be able to motivate these people to do things.
What you gotta do.
So I think this is another good book, and that'd be my 4 for the day.
All right. So mine, first and foremost, praise God. Y'all got to read the Bible, bro. The Bible, honestly, bro, just teaches so many life lessons. I know everybody is not going to be religious and all that stuff, which is perfectly fine to each their own.
Of course.
But this is still a very good book and will teach you just a lot about life. And I think will really open your eyes to certain things and really tell you how you should be living your life.
You'll be shocked about the things that are happening now that are just so congruent with what's actually said in the Bible.
Big facts. Big facts. Power of positive thinking. Anybody who has any, even if you have really good positive thinking, but like anybody who has negative thinking, having a hard time, this is just a really good book. It will change the way you think. It will switch your perspective on life, and it will help you in terms of thinking positively and kind of moving forward with that type of thinking. Positive thinking is like one of the best type of attitudes you can have, man.
For real.
No one likes anybody who's negative.
Yeah, man. For real.
Next. How to win and influence people. I think at the end of the day, we all got to learn how to talk to people.
Yep.
We all have to work to try to get people on our side, and I think this book will really help you be able to talk to people, make small talk, and really just have really engaging conversations.
A lot of people don't know how to socialize, and that helps.
Facts. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. I think it's just very good in terms of learning people. At the end of the day, bro, we're all humans, and I think it's hard for you to really get a one-up in this world if you don't understand human nature.
Yes.
And it's very easy to kind of just let your emotions take over. But if reading this book, you might realize the reason why someone is doing something might be due to something that happened in their past. Could be, they might not even be mad at you. They might be taking it out on you. You'll be able to figure out, read different type of body language, how people sit, how people act, how they carry themselves, what might be real, what might be fake. This book really goes into depth. You should really check it out.
And I'm sure you can even learn something about yourself too.
You will.
Why you do something.
It does also teach you terms of just about character, building your own character, what character to look for in other people, how you should be conducting yourself and the character you should build yourself, how to have different perspectives, how to look at the bigger picture instead of just kind of looking narrowing, how to look out years from now. It's a very, very good read. And then the last one I don't have here, but The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene is just a really good book. Especially, listen, man, I ain't even gonna lie, especially if you're a guy and you're really trying to get females. I mean, hey, don't use the book for evil, but homie, it will definitely help you be able to kind of pull females in a way if you kind of use some of the steps. Obviously, it's a book, so it's not real life.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't really follow it step by step and expect,
Of course.
But a lot of the tactics in there works, and it could be used towards your life. Everyone's situation is different, but I think it's a really good book, and I think at the end of the day, you got to be able to seduce people to a certain point to get them to do what you want, and to kind of get what you want. So
very true.
That'll be my
That'll be your sections. Yeah. All right, cool. Word.